Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Rosemarie Neumayer, and today I'm going to be doing a hypermobility crochet video. I recently found out I was hypermobile, not this double jointed thing my original doctor had diagnosed and I've since been told over the years. Hypermobility was first coined in 76, that's 1976, so that was a shocker to find out that it's been around for quite a while in terms of knowing, and we've just not updated the term. So you're not double jointed. Of course, my joke is like, well, show me, doc, where I have extra joints in here, please, or anywhere else for that matter, because very hypermobile. To the point where my grandmother, when I was a kid, my ma, she used to call me Gumby. And of course I had to learn the reference to that because I didn't know what Gumby was. It's the stretch doll. If you were a 90s kid, you'd Stretch Armstrong. Anyway, so this video was inspired because I thought I'm not the only one who crochets with hypermobility, and specifically in this particular context, hypermobile fingers. And I was thinking about it and toying around with it. Should I do this? You know, I like to keep things positive and upbeat on my channel. And talking about disability can sometimes take it down a notch, but it's a happy thing in the sense that I've had things improve and I've been able to work with this ability, or disability, depending on how you view it, because it can be absolutely debilitating because of, and I'll go into that and how and why. Certainly when you're a kid, you're the life of the party because you can do all these really weird tricks. You know, you can make your thumb disappear. You can put your thumb down to here. I can't do that anymore, by the way. I'm in my 40s, so as you get older and you have so many injuries, you lose track of them. Inflammation rears its ugly head and things get really bad. And of course, even in my 20s, things started getting really bad, actually. But I had pain up through my childhood. So anyway, hypermobility is a spectrum. You can have just in one joint, you can have in several from head to toe. Like for instance, pretty much all of me is hypermobile. And then you have my husband, and he has hypermobile fingers, hypermobile wrists, and hypermobile shoulders. So, in other words, his shoulders like to do this. That's a hypermobile shoulder. You know, that big slouchy thing where you're hunched over, like lurch. So, put those babies back because you're causing pain to your shoulder blades. What happens is hypermobility will means that you have flexible joints. Okay, your joints are hypermobile. So that's where the double jointed nonsense came from. But what you need to be doing is remembering that your ligaments and your tendons are still the same as everybody else's ligaments and tendons. Provided you don't have some other syndrome like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and all that stuff and other things, which means you're actually even worse off than if you just had regular hypermobility. Whole different kettle of fish. But anyway, so you still have the same ligaments and joint in tendons. So what you're doing when you do that flexible weird thing, you are causing microfractures and tears in those ligaments and joints, which lead to inflammation and injury, and over time can actually completely debilitate you. I know I wake up every morning with stiff fingers and hands. I have to kind of gently work through them before I have use of them again, full use that is. And the worst part was when I actually lost, I think it was 2 years ago now, maybe 3, where I lost for 2 weeks full complete use of my hands, like to the point where I had to have my food pre-cut so I could stab it with the fork. Terrible. Could not crochet, could not do anything. I just had to let all that heal because I'd done all these microfractures, and I come to find out that all these microfractures were being caused by crochet. Yeah. Like the thing I love to do. And so I was watching a video by Annie from Hooks and Healers, and where she was talking about how she doesn't crochet so much because she's one of these people whose hands hurt when she crochets. And I was like, oh no. Okay, I have to do that video that I was thinking of because I can't be the only one. And sure enough, I flip over to her shorts and you see her crocheting, and she's got hypermobile fingers, and that is why her hands hurt. And so I hope she sees this. I will be tagging her. And she, yeah, it's just, you have to learn what the normal range of movement is for your ligaments. because otherwise you're hurting yourself and you're giving yourself injury, and it will only get worse. Yeah, yeah, like I said, lost my hands 2 weeks. That was the longest period. Since I've figured out that I was hypermobile and been using my fingers within that normal plane, I'm doing a lot better. I haven't actually lost them. Now, if I'm having a bad hand day where they just feel really stiff and sore, I will just take the day off. I'm not going to crochet that day. Because that's just, you know, self-care. That's looking after yourself. But for the most part, I can keep crocheting every day, which is wonderful because I love to do it. It's very relaxing for me, and I love being able to create a cute little thing. Like, I love it. So here's, you know, because Valentine's is coming, so I'm in my full mode of making all those things. So without further ado, how to know if you have hypermobility. It's actually really easy if your hands are hypermobile or not. Because a normal hand, okay, my wrists are too, so let me just try to get the hand bit here. The normal hand, when you pull back, you're looking at about that much plane of movement, okay? Yeah, some of you are going, oh my gosh, that's it, just that? You don't want to go past that. However, if you can do this, you're hypermobile, or any equivalency of. So what happens is your fingers, all those extra ligaments and things, when you're pulling them back, right, will splay in a kind of like a flippy up way. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. And so just, yeah, got one of these hearts on the go. I started this here. I always like to stick a knot in the end of, you know, I'm a chain 2 and go back, but even if I find something where I'm doing a magic circle, magic ring, whatever, you want to tie it off because these things can come loose. So what you're doing, right, is when you're crocheting here, you're, you know, and I'm keeping everything clawed in on purpose because that keeps things going. But what was happening was this, when I would be, and I'll show you here. See how that is happening? So this finger, really bad. And see here on the hook, my index finger, and I saw that in Annie's video. I was like, oh no, yes, okay. See how bad that is? This is bad because your finger shouldn't do that. It should stay like that. So what I've started doing is using my fingers purposefully, right? And being very mindful of it and purposely clawing them in when I'm crocheting to reduce the hand strain from the hypermobility. And anyone who has normal hands is going to be like, that's just the way my hands are. And that's fine. Lucky you. Now, what I did do, where is it here? Because I couldn't get this little thing to stay. These ones I could claw them in, right? I could get them to bend in when I was doing movements, but not the index finger that's here on the hook. I just could not get that to happen. So what I did is I created a custom little brace. Okay, it looks a little gross because I need to change out the medical tape, but anyway, I'll show you. So this is a piece of metal, and what this piece of metal actually is, it's from a sewing kit. It's a thimble. It's you would slip it on your finger while you're sewing so you can, you know, push things in. And because the metal itself was abrasive and causing trouble, it was hurting, so I put medical tape on the inside and on the outside, and I need to change it, but periodically I change it. So then I can do this, and you can get rings too, apparently, for this. I haven't ever seen them. I'm in Canada though, so we're always like 20 years behind with our medical system. Okay, unless you have a really invasive, like really, yeah, doctor who's excited about new medicine. So anyway, so if you see here, this brace that I've created and having that piece of metal there at the joint keeps my finger from bending in, and keeps it from going and flipping up, right? So that it doesn't go past that normal plane of movement. And that's what I'm talking about, because if your finger is doing this, you're hurting yourself. And I'm at the point now that, yeah, I can feel that. That's tender. That's the other thing, is once I stopped doing the hypermobility things, letting my fingers do these hypermobile things, Afterwards, when things, after they healed up, it was just like doing it again. It's just, I could suddenly feel it, which is kind of funny because before that I couldn't feel it at all. I wouldn't notice I was doing it, because it was just, for me, it was my normal, right? But once you stop doing it, it's just like, oh yeah, you feel it. So, and like I said, I'm in my 40s now, so it's getting older. And of course, when you repetitive injury like that, it does add up, and it robs you of your use of your fingers, which is, sad and upsetting and frustrating and painful. So, so that's it. That's what I wanted to show you all. That if you happen to find that you have extra bendy fingers and they're doing these weird little flippity up things, that's not good. Don't do that. So my rule of thumb, and I say that because I have this hypermobile thumb that just refuses to stay straight, is that I don't bend past this plane, right? See how straight I've got that? I don't want to bend past that, because then you're starting to get anything past that, you're starting to get ligament issues, right? And you don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to hurt your fingers. You don't want to injure yourself. And there are all these little micro injuries. And the other thing that happens, of course, is that with the micro injuries that you're giving yourself to the tendons and your ligaments, you're also allowing for inflammation to move in, which causes pain and stiffness. But not only that, you can, if it's bad enough, and trust me, I've done some doozies over the years. I tend to fall over a lot. You end up with scar tissue on the ligaments and the joints. So things don't move as smooth anymore because of that scar tissue. And I speak entirely from experience on this. I've lost so much mobility. It was kind of funny. I actually went this past summer in to see my doctor because I was like, I've lost so much mobility. And he's like, what? You're way more flexible than me. Like, you have a connective tissue disorder of some kind. We need to find out what this is. And he's wonderful. I'm so glad to have him. And anyway, so yeah, it was just, I showed him all the little freaky things I could still do, and head to toe, and including the flopping my ankle over and all this stuff. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to show you. And that's my little rant, I guess, about hypermobility. And it's become like my own little personal thing now. It's like, if I see anyone has hypermobile fingers, I'm like, stop, you're hurting yourself. It's bad, don't do it. And actually, funny enough, my husband, he's been following what I've been saying too as well. And he's not having the hand pain that he used to get as well too. He's actually gotten arthritis in the one finger real bad, and even that's been doing a lot better. So that's great. You want that to be the case. You don't want to be living in pain if you can help it. And certainly as you get older, eventually, yes, but there's a certain amount of pain that I've dealt with all my life, and it just keeps building. And it's like, I don't want to, if I don't have to, why should I be in pain? So doing that allows me, keeping things when I'm clawed in and bent in like a normal hand would do when doing crochet, allows me that ability to keep crocheting and to do it without pain, which is lovely. So I can sit now, and like before, I was just, like Annie would say, like I would just do short little spurts. It's one of the reasons why I love doing tiny stuffies. I have a tiny stuffy addiction because, well, here, I'll show you the pink one this time around, because I could sit and do that, I'm fairly fast because I've been doing it for almost 2 decades, and I could just, be done in under an hour, like one of these is about 40 minutes. So, I'd be done. And then voila, something to show for it. And then there could be, I used to be able to sit and crochet when I first started for like 6 hours. I didn't take a couple of breaks here and there, right? With your hands and move them just gently, but, and stretch them out, just again, keeping in that normal range of motion and stuff like that. But for the most part, I could sit and crochet for like 6 hours, which was great. I loved it. But now I can't. I was getting to the point where I was having troubles to crochet for an hour. And this was really scary for someone who has a crochet business. And this is how, and I'm working on a pattern book. And I know I keep saying this, but I'm a turtle, so just go with it. And yeah, so it was really, really frustrating and hard. And then I got everything sorted, and it's just been amazing. And like the other day, my hands were feeling great. I sat for 6 hours and crocheted. It was wonderful. I got so much done. I'm so happy. And today I'm not feeling it, which, my hands are a little sore, a little stiff today, but that's not because this is a couple days ago when I did the 6 hour. It's not because of that. It's because the weather today. We have a lot of high humidity, and I do find that affects me. The joys of getting older and having chronic inflammation. But anyway, so yeah, so that's something you really want to watch out for when you're crocheting, is to make sure that your fingers are actually staying within this normal range of motion. And one of the nice things too is the more I use my brace, I find I can have this, I've strengthened this joint so that I can actually, not all the time, but for short little things, I can tend to keep it pretty, okay, I can't use it too much because otherwise I put pressure on it and the darn thing, yeah, okay. It flips up again. So as you saw there, it's like, oh, look, there it is again. Yeah, not good. Ugh. So that's why I use this. Something I will shout out to, by the way, which has helped me immensely, because being, is the Fibro guy. Okay, follow him, give him a follow. Seriously, watch the videos. And I love his stuff, because he does these amazing little shorts that just shows you this one thing, like how to put your wrists back into place, which is great, especially if you're into crochet. I highly recommend checking out that video, the one where he shows you to do the wrists, because you're going to be putting them out of whack doing the crochet. And so he shows you that, and it's just a quick little stretchy thing. I'm not going to steal his thunder and do it for you. So pop over there. I'll try and link it in the description thing for you. And it just puts everything back in place, so you have that strength in your hands again, which is wonderful. And yeah, and just all the other things that he shows, because his shorts are great because he'll just show like one thing, like the wrists, and then you can practice that, you can get that down pat, and then when you have something else that's hurting, you can quickly look it up and be like, okay, hip, okay, great, my hips are hurting, okay, that's how to put the hip in, great. And then you can just do that with the short and learn, which is fantastic. That's been a lifesaver, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I just, yeah, can't thank you enough. Anyway, so there's that. So I would recommend that as well. Just a wonderful resource that's out there. And there's so many videos right now. So if you have questions about hypermobility, and if you suspect that you are, and I mean, like I said, it's pretty easy to test, especially the fingers, your toes will do the same thing, for the record, if you're hypermobile in your toes. But you can be hypermobile anywhere: ribs, back, neck, ankles, feet. Yeah, if it's a joint, you can be hypermobile in it. If it bends, if it moves, yeah. So I guess I'll bring this little rant to an end. I hope that somebody watching has found this helpful, because that's the goal. As long as I help one person, yay. And like I said, it's a happy thing for me, because I've been able to figure out what is happening with me so that I can regain the use of my hands again. Like, seriously, my hands are doing so much better. We're having our coldest, wettest winter in a decade, and here in Canada and my part of Ontario, and literally my hands are doing better than they have in the last decade. So that's great. It's really great. And this is without medication. It's just with being aware of the joints and how they're working, and how they're, how those the joints are moving and flexing and things like that. So that is a good thing. And certainly you want to look after yourself. You want to take care of yourself, because you want to keep doing this. And yeah, so thanks for joining me, and hope you enjoyed seeing my little hearts on keychains. It's kind of like the little bonus thing if you stuck around for this. Here we go. I'll show you. But yeah, so thanks for joining me. And, hope you learned something helpful. Have a great day. Bye.